Primary Care with Dr. Sam Benjamin on News Talk 92.3 KTAR.
Now, I said in October of 2009 that I thought that the swine flu, which then became the H1N1, to be cool, the H1N1, I said that it was less dangerous and less virulent than the regular flu around at that time. And I was proven right. You know what the name of the show is, by the way, in case you don't know? I told you so. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. The dreaded pandemic. What a terrible thing. And, by the way, the swine flu vaccine, which, by the way, nobody has been able to prove would make any difference in decreasing hospitalizations or, for that matter, in decreasing mortality, meaning death, isn't even available yet. They haven't got enough of it. Oh, goodness, we need to hurry up and spend that $1.5 billion that the President of the United States has allocated for the purchase of swine flu vaccine and for dealing with swine flu across the United States. Instead, we spent $5 billion on the H1N1 vaccine. And that's a really important thing. So in October of 2009, I questioned whether it was a pandemic. It was never a pandemic, meaning it was never meeting the criteria of what would be an epidemic that would cross around the world and affect X number of people. I don't think there's any issue about the swine flu. I think that it is less dangerous and less virulent by far than influenza A and B that are typical seasonal flus that come to the United States. I told you so. I told you so. We said that the feds say 18,000 people died from the H1N1. 18,000. They did die. I'm not questioning that. And they're saying that there were more and it was underreported. So I was willing to double it. I was willing to say it was 36,000. We spent $5 billion on it plus indirect costs, which could have been billions more. In that same year, 616,000 people died of heart disease. 562,000 died from cancer. 135,000 died from stroke. 127,000 died from lower respiratory diseases, maybe pneumonia. 123,000 people dropped dead from unintentional injuries sustained as a result of accidents. 75,000 died from Alzheimer's. 72,000 died from diabetes. And more people died from the regular flu than those that died from H1N1. I'm getting very emotional about this because this is an example of how politics affects you and your children, and you better be aware of this this coming season. The problem here is that American medicine has met its Peter principle. This is the fact of life. And the fact of life is that these doctors that think they're geniuses are none of the sort. And you're just as smart as they are if you were given the information. But the Obama administration, and by the way, the Republican Party as well, have not been transparent with you. They have not told you that these people are not qualified to make these decisions, that there was no medical evidence to show that the H1N1 vaccine needed to be rushed into production, that we should spend $5 billion at the very least on it, that we should scare the living daylights out of you, and no one told you that there were side effects, and no one told you that the vaccine had never been tested. My God, what's going to happen this fall?
Just like you said earlier, between the schools and the media, it was just a total scare tactic for everybody.
Your children are your treasure. I'd be very careful about giving them a vaccine. I'd want my doctor to show me medical data of the testing that was done for that vaccine. If your child has asthma or diabetes, it may indeed be important that that your kid take the vaccine, possibly. There are on my website, and I've had it on twice already. I will do it again soon. My reminders of what I recommend for the flu vaccine, for the flu period and the cold period that's coming up. I understand that some of you will still decide on the vaccine, and I understand that many of you will not. And by the way, I'm not anti-vaccine. In my show in October, when I was talking about this, there was a young man that called and said I'm anti-vaccine, which is absolutely not true. The fact of the matter is the vaccines that are really important For some reason, we didn't spend anywhere near the amount of money on it. To give you an example, the shingles vaccine for people 60, at age 60, they should get this. It's really important. I have several patients who want the vaccine. They can't afford it because it costs $250, $300, something like that, because their insurance company won't pay for it. Now, I understand that there may be, I think there's legislation now that is going to force insurance companies to pay for preventive care. That actually may be a good thing. It's one of the few things that looks like it's halfway decent. But the fact of the matter is you need to make decisions about which vaccines are useful and which are not. Which vaccines might have side effects that are dangerous and which may not. And you cannot believe either side. You can't believe the crazy people that totally argue against the vaccines, and you can't believe the crazy people that think that they know what's best for you and your child's body. This is fascism at its highest level. Scaring the hell out of you. The next step is they'll force you. They'll say your kid, they do it in many states. They say your kid can't go to school unless they have these vaccines. That's fascism. They're telling you what must go into your child's body or your body. I told you so. I told you so.